Rolling camera. 3, 2, 1. Rolling sound. Give me a clap. Who are you?
My name's Walter, 27 years old. I'm from New York. I'm a fixer. I like to fix things mechanically, physically, emotionally, psychologically. Um, I enjoy looking at the ambitions and the reaches of life instead of just skimming the surface. I'm a very passionate person. I'm very deep in loyalty, family, um, and I really believe in respect and setting your own set of laws, not necessarily going by society, because as a group, people are flawed, but individually, it becomes a much more complicated and beautiful situation.
What was your childhood like? And what were some important lessons that you learned then that you carry with you today?
My childhood was very chaotic. I grew up a lot earlier than I feel I should have. I learned how to take care of myself at a very young age. And within going through all that stuff, I want to say that one of the biggest lessons I've learned is you can't help anybody if you can't help yourself. And even though you may feel like you know someone, it's always good to have an open line of communication or have a backup plan because life happens. And that's the best way to really say it. Um, I definitely can say I was one of those one in a million people that everybody says, "Oh, this probably wouldn't happen. This would never happen," and it happens a lot more than you would think. So it's kind of a crazy situation in bad times, but then blessings and miracles in good times.
How does a flower grow?
Um, I think a flower grows through light and watering. That's a really big thing for me. Meaning a flower can be your mind, a flower can be the universe and any living thing growing. So it needs food, it needs nurture, it needs love. Um, because you could feed somebody and not love them. Like as a parent, you could do everything that you feel you're responsible for, um, just feeding, clothing, taking to school, stuff like that, and you're not feeding the complete side, to the other person. So I think that's a really big thing.
Please give me a number from 1 to 100.
33.
When have you felt your biggest adrenaline rush?
Um, hmm. It would probably be buying my second BMW. Um, I flew up to Michigan to get it, and I had saved up for about a year and a half, and I'd been searching for a few weeks, and I was driving it back, and I think I was doing maybe 130, 140 going through the Tennessee mountains. And it was like a 2-lane road up and down, and I was cutting in between 18 wheelers and stuff at like 3 in the morning. So it felt like a Fast and the Furious type of movie, scene. So that was one of my biggest adrenaline rushes in my life.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
15.
What is the difference between being alive and truly living? Which is your current experience?
I think being alive is just the act of breathing. Um, I think that most people aren't living because they're focused on their needs. Our society has built us around focusing on making money and taking care of ourselves and finding stability rather than finding and pursuing happiness like we were given in our Bill of Rights. So I think the being alive is being a worker, but truly living is following everything that you feel in your heart, your mind, and your soul is driving you towards when you find a purpose or a passion.
Please give me another number between 1 and 100.
73.
When have you caused the most harm to yourself?
Um, that's a pretty good question. I would probably say in my late teenage years, um, I ended up losing a lot of friends to bad situations that I was living around and bad choices they were making and whatnot. And instead of realizing the mistakes that were being made or the anger that was on both sides and kind of objectively looking at it, I was selfish and focused on myself rather than the damage that I'm doing to the world and the neighborhood that I'm dealing with.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
86.
Is a life exclusive to pleasure with no suffering worthwhile?
No, I don't feel like you could appreciate the pleasure without the pain. Um, I've learned, and I'm kind of cynical, but I've learned that instead of running away from a storm or running away from pain, I now look at it as a lesson or opportunity to gain something. Feel like you gain strength through pain. And that's kind of like a cow running away from a storm rather than the wildebeest detecting the storm and running towards it, knowing that he's going to get through it quicker and it's going to be sunny quicker. And in gaining whatever lesson he had to learn through the storm, he can now take that and build with that and continue to teach other people with it.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
1.
What is the one thing you'd most like to change about the world? How would you go about changing the current world into that one?
Um, I would take away a lot of greed and selfishness, which would eliminate the need for people to show off or people to have the hatred that they have towards other people or the envy that they have, and giving people the freedom to actually focus on what they want and what they want to do or their passions. Um, how would I go about changing that? I would try to get rid of the money system and currency, quite honestly. Um, it's driven a lot of our population to focus on the needs rather than their wants. And that's not what life is about because even though everyone has to eat to stay alive, we don't base our lives around eating, which is what we shouldn't do with working. We should base our lives around what we like and what we love because that goes into leaving a legacy. When you die, people aren't going to remember that you worked at the post office for 15 years and you were never late. But they'll remember Picasso for hundreds and hundreds of years because of something that he painted, because he was creative and he put his own personal perspective on it.
Please give me another number from 1 to 100.
99.
What quote resonates with you more than any other?
Um, every child is an artist, but remaining one as an adult is what turns a person into a masterpiece. And that was by Pablo Picasso. Um, because it shows you that as a child, you have all these passions and you don't have society standards that you think about on a daily basis and what's correct and what's proper. You just are who you are. And maintaining that as you go through the world is amazingly hard. Like a rose trying to grow without having any thorns, even though it went through horrible summers or they never got rained on like it properly should have. But it's basically reminding myself that I can't let the world change me. I have to be me through everything, and I just have to deal with these experiences because I shouldn't. I look at myself like a ship, I guess is the best way to say it, that's floating through the ocean of the world. And the more water I let in, the quicker I'm going to sink. And if I can keep all that stuff out, then I can keep my peace and be who I am, traveling around the world and becoming what the world is and what I view the world as.
Please give me one final number between 1 and 100.
16.
What would you do differently if you knew What would you do differently if you knew nobody would judge you? What does an uninhibited What does an uninhibited you look like?
Um, what I do differently if nobody judged me? I think I would speak a lot more rather than observe what was going on, but an understanding that everyone judges everyone. Everyone's perspective is different. And my first impression on somebody could change, could drastically change the outcome of our relationship or someone else's relationship or a business transaction, whatever it may be. Um, I would probably, like I said, just speak my mind more without reserve and try to help people a lot more because I like teaching and I like helping people, but learning the world is very judgmental and very self-centered. I kind of learned to just be quiet and listen to what's going on rather than speak my mind and let everybody know what I'm thinking.
How do you find meaning in your daily experience? What propels you through life?
I find meaning by um, trying to touch as many people as possible daily, whether it be teaching them, showing them love, showing them care, because I find joy in providing light or spreading light throughout the world. Um, what propels me through life, knowing that this isn't the one stop that my soul is going through, and in learning more about myself, I'm learning more about my ancestry, and I'm learning more about my future, and I'm more so excited to just enjoy the moment and kind of seize the day every day because I'm never going to get that moment back. So enjoy the little things.
What has the experience of living been like for you to this point? What can people learn from your life?
My experience has been school is a basis that you learn things are a lot deeper than what you're taught. Math isn't really, or algebra isn't really a big part of math, but it's more so to teach you how to deal with problems and how to solve problems in real world situations. So I'm trying to think of a good way to say that. I think that, what was the last part of the question?
What can people learn from your life?
What can people learn? Take nothing personally because a lot of times their opinions or someone else's opinions could be a projection of what they're dealing with. And you have to learn that not everything is about you, and everybody is their own star of their show in their life. Um, Slow down, pay attention, because a lot of big mistakes are really small and easy mistakes. And a lot of little things can add up to something really big and snowball quickly.
So this is the big question and the reason we're here. Life is fleeting. We never know when it's our time. If these were your last words ever recorded, what would you say about your life and legacy?
I did my best. I was honest at every point that I could be. Um, as far as what am I trying to provide further down the line, I hope everything that in my life and my choices continue in my legacy are understood. And it was never a selfish decision. It was always focused on furthering the family. Because at the end of the day, when I die or when my grandparent or grandchildren die, everyone's going to be based off of where my family leads and what direction that I chose for them. And I lived it to the fullest. I did the best that I could. Uh, Little moments mattered, and I had a great time.
So I'll ask you again, and finally, who are you?
My name's Walter. I'm a teacher. I'm a fixer. I'm a compassionate and loyal person. And I'm a human being.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
All right, that's it.